Hello, everyone. My name is Merle Massey. I'm coordinator for undergraduate research at the University of Saskatchewan. It is June 25th, 2020, so here we are in our pandemic times. We have a new pilot initiative that we rolled out this summer, the Student Undergraduate Research Experience, the SURE program, and it's been a series of webinars and other events, training and events. And today we have with us Ghassan Al-Yassin, who's going to talk to us about what the process is like to publish with the University of Saskatchewan's Undergraduate Research Journal. And with that, I will pass it over to Ghassan.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone. So perhaps we met yesterday. If not, my name is Ghassan. I'm an MD PhD candidate. I'm the graduate editor-in-chief of the University of Saskatchewan Undergraduate Research Journal. So if you haven't heard of us, I will give you a brief introduction and then show you how you can submit articles to USURJ. Very easy process, and hopefully it will answer all your questions. Can you see my screen? Is everything going well? Okay, so any questions, type them in the chat and hopefully Merle will let me know. And we'll also do another Q&A at the end and we'll do a website tour. Anyways, let's get this going. So what am I going to talk about today? Very briefly, what USURJ is, the advantage of publishing in USURJ. And, oh, sorry, I forgot to turn off my video. Just a second. There you go. Good. The advantage of publishing in USURJ, what we do for students, and a website tour so I can show you how to submit an article. I will submit an article in front of you just so you can see what it's like. So hopefully by now you understand how important it is to publish. It's important for you, your career and your CV, but it's also important for the field you're working in so people can learn from you and can expand further on your work. So where do we fit in that thing? We are an online scholarly journal. So we do not have a print form. You can only access our articles online and you can download PDFs. We are a multidisciplinary journal, so hopefully that gives you an idea of what our audience looks like. We are peer-reviewed and we use a double-blind peer review process, and we are open access. If you volunteer with us as an editor, your activity is CCR approved, so that's a good reason to volunteer, and it's a great experience from what I hear, and I can vouch for that. So why open access? We had that talk, how open access is important. It enhances accessibility to your work, and it democratizes the access to research results. And I like to joke and say it enhances your Googleability, because really anyone out there can Google your name, your article will come up, they click on it, and they can read your entire work, as simple as that. And hopefully later I can show you what impact this has had on our authors. So I mentioned we are open access, and yesterday we briefly talked about predatory publishers. So on our website, you will see that USURJ is indexed in the DOAJ. So I'll briefly talk about that. DOAJ is the Directory of Open Access Journals. It was created kind of as a quality control to make sure that if there are journals indexed in the DOAJ, these journals that are open access are legitimate journals. They have legitimate peer review process or editorial workflow and editorial policies. These are all clearly available and listed on the website. The ethics are being followed and all that stuff to protect authors from predatory publishers. And USURJ is indexed in the DOAJ. Who can submit to USURJ? All undergraduate students at the University of Saskatchewan in any college can submit to USURJ. Also, graduate students can submit, but they can only submit work they have done within 2 years after they graduated. So the work that they did, they have to have done it as undergraduate students. And after they graduate, they only have 2 years to submit that work. So even if you graduate, you can still submit your undergraduate research. What kind of stuff do we publish? So we publish original work that hasn't been published before and is not being considered for publication elsewhere. We accept multi-authored work. So you can submit, if you did a group project and you want to submit with your group members, you can absolutely do that. If you want to co-author a manuscript with your professor, you can definitely do that. The types of articles we publish include the classical research papers, so data and all that stuff, review papers as well. And I put here in red, not a summary. I'll come back to that in a bit. We published something called research snapshots, and we will discuss that in a bit. And we're trying to add artwork and cover art to the list of things we publish. So I'll just explain artwork and cover art. Artwork is, in general, if you're doing an art project, an academic type of work, and you want to publish it with us. Cover art is different and is evaluated even differently. Cover art is basically a picture that will end up being the cover of the issue we are about to publish. And I'll show you what those look like. So these can be a nice picture that you took, a painting that you made, or a picture in a microscope of some interesting things happening. Any of these things, you submit them, and our editorial board votes on it, and your picture can end up being a cover art. Research snapshots, these are fairly a new addition. Just like the name suggests, they are a snapshot of an ongoing research. So let's say they are not peer-reviewed for a reason, because sometimes you do a short-term project, a summer project, something like that. You might not have a lot of results to draft a full-fledged research article, but you still want to talk about your research experience and the significance of the research that you did. So you can write a short, roughly 500 words paper describing what you've done, the significance of the things that you did, and also the PI who supported you can add a little supporting blurb at the end of it. It doesn't have to be about research. You could be writing a mini essay. So it's a very flexible and very convenient thing for students, and many professors are becoming more and more interested in encouraging students to submit research snapshots. So maybe in one of your future classes, your prof will ask you or encourage you to submit a research snapshot. So they are not full articles, they are not peer-reviewed, but they do undergo heavy review by our editors. Okay, so if you've done something interesting, even if you don't have a lot of results to type it into a full research article, please consider research snapshots. So this is a research snapshot that was submitted to us and it was published. And this is roughly what it looks like. Nice and short. Our author here described what she did. And here, the supervisors who supported her work, they talked about the significance of the work that she did. So for research and review articles, we usually divide them into 4 sections: health sciences, natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities and fine arts. Each section is run by an independent team. led by a senior editor and at least 4 associate editors. Review articles, I said before, these are not summaries, and I want to touch on that here. Perhaps the most common type of articles we receive are review articles. And the most common reason we reject review articles is the lack of originality. What do I mean by that? Review articles are sometimes confused with summarizing existing literature. Unfortunately, this is not considered original work. A review article becomes original if you start to synthesize new ideas, if you draw different conclusions based on the existing research, if you make your own recommendations, if you suggest certain experiments that other people haven't considered. That makes your review article original. So keep that in mind if you want to submit a review article. Ask yourself, am I suggesting something new here? Am I contributing, or am I only summarizing what is already known? Okay? If you have any questions about this, please let me know. How frequently do we publish? We usually publish 2 issues per volume, 1 volume per year. All these pictures that you see, these are cover art submitted to us by students. So here, for example, this is a picture of a galaxy that was taken by one of our students using a telescope found on campus. This is a painting with beadwork done by one of our authors, and it ended up winning and became the cover art for that issue. Okay? Even though we publish twice a year, we say that we publish continuously, which means you can submit whenever you like. We do not have a deadline. Okay? So doesn't matter when you finish working on your paper, you can submit it the moment you're done working on it. There is no deadline. Even though we publish 2 issues a year, we decided to break the rule this year because we decided to host abstracts for a Canadian conference that is run by students. This year, the U of S students hosted this conference. They reached out to us and they asked if they could have the abstracts from the conference submitted to USURJ. And we accommodated that. All the abstracts were peer-reviewed, and many of them ended up getting published on our website. So hopefully this is something we can expand more on and include more conferences in the future. We'll see. So the TLDR version of why publish in USURJ, I'll focus on a few things. So there is no publication fee. You do not have to pay anything to publish in USURJ. And we are an open access journal. But I think the most important thing USURJ offers is it is a gentle introduction into the world of academic publishing. We will give you a lot of help and a lot of feedback, both from the editors and from our reviewers. You will learn a lot, your writing style will improve, and your article will improve. Worst case scenario, even if your article does not get published, you will learn something. You will improve it and you can submit it again. Okay? Every year we pick 2 articles and the authors will receive best paper prize, $200 each. So last year we had 1 author receive 200, and then 2 authors actually shared the second prize because both wrote exceptionally well written papers, and we had an honorable mention. This year we had 2 authors share the first prize, and we had an honorable mention, and hopefully this will keep going in the future. So if you put a lot of effort, who knows, maybe your article will be nominated as one of the best paper prizes. Impact. So I told you that our journal is open access, and this has been helpful. Why? So yesterday I went to Google Scholar, and it turns out of the articles we published, 19 of them were cited, a total number of 82 times. So that is very, very good for an undergraduate research journal. And the fact that we are open access means more and more people will easily read your work. So there's a good chance that your paper can be cited by someone out there. And our authors, we give usually surveys every now and then to see what our authors think and if they have any feedback. And they have been, they are always grateful for all the feedback that we give. And I will show you an example of what that feedback looks like. So the publication process, we already talked about it, but this is the USURJ edition. So you already picked the right journal, right? So how do you submit to USURJ? We ask for two documents, the main submission file and the publication agreement. We will talk about that in a bit. If you want to submit supplementary material, that is absolutely fine, but just know that this is optional. So we had an author who submitted work, and he used a software with a special code. He wanted to publish that code as a separate supplementary file, and we allowed that, and there's no problem with that at all. So if that's something you want to do, feel free to do it. All the information you need to submit your work, you can find it at this link, and we will go through it in a bit. Okay, so I said two files, the main submission file and the publication agreement. Make sure your submission file adheres to our journal's format. We do not have a lot of restrictions because we are a multidisciplinary journal, so we accommodate a lot of formats. We just ask that you are consistent in your writing style and your documentation style. Make sure it is completely anonymous, so your name doesn't appear anywhere. Again, we follow a double-blind peer review process. If you use any third-party figures, so these are figures from other published work, make sure you have a written permission. And when you submit, we ask you to give us 4 to 6 keywords that describe your work. And this will help us with the indexing of your work. All right, publication agreement. The purpose is for you to provide us with contact information. You can suggest potential reviewers, and this will be very, very helpful for us. Do not contact the reviewers because this will unfortunately compromise the double-blind peer review process. And you will have the option of selecting a copyright license for your work. Our default copyright license is Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial, which means your other people can use your work and modify it as long as they cite you and as long as their work is not commercial. If you want to give a different type of license, then you are free to do so. Our publication agreement will give you that option. So if you're submitting research or review article, just make sure you select the appropriate section, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you submit a research snapshot, there's an option that you will select. Make sure it's research snapshots. If you're submitting artwork or cover art, you will notice that our website doesn't look like it's equipped for that. Just contact us and we will guide you through the process. It's all very simple. Okay? Peer review for USURJ. What does it look like? What you see here is exactly what we give to our editors. When our editors receive your work, they will follow these criteria to determine whether they will send your work for peer review or send it back. Okay? So we don't have a lot of requirements, but there are some important things that you have to pay attention to. So for example, Are you eligible to submit? Are you a University of Saskatchewan student? Are you an undergraduate student? Is your work eligible? Was it done at the University of Saskatchewan? Was it supported by the university? And then the quality of the writing itself. We don't ask for a solid grammar and no mistakes at all. These are expected to happen, but the clarity is important. If we have a difficulty understanding the writing, then unfortunately we can't send it for peer review. Okay? So these are some of the things that you should pay attention to. So these slides will be made available to you, so don't worry about writing anything down. And like I said before, you will receive a lot of feedback. So if you submit something to us and we think it's not ready for peer review, we won't just flat out reject your work. We will send it back to you with feedback so you can improve it and send it back again, and then hopefully we can send it for peer review. You will receive a lot of feedback from our editors and from the reviewers. And when I say a lot of feedback, I mean it, a lot of feedback. So this is me, just me, not the reviewer, giving a lot of feedback to one of our authors. And this paper did actually end up getting published. So even though there were a lot of comments, that doesn't mean the paper was rejected. We will help you improve your paper. Okay? Keep that in mind. And like I said yesterday, after peer review, everything is fun. And you don't need to worry about much from this point onwards, because our editors will do the copy editing. They will make sure that your paper doesn't have any typos or grammatical errors. And then it moves to the production stage where we have layout editors who will create the PDF, which looks like this. This PDF will be sent to you. You will have to read it very carefully and make any suggested changes within 48 hours and send it back to us. Only minor changes are accepted. If you decide to add a whole new section, unfortunately, it means your paper will now have to go through peer review again. So only minor changes are accepted at this point. Okay? And if everything is happy, if you end up approving the PDF layout, we publish it. Okay? So the next part, what I'm going to do next is I will take you through a tour of our website. But before we go there, do you have any questions? Can you speak more about volunteering with USURJ? Oh yeah, of course. So when it comes to qualifications, we don't expect you to already know the ins and outs of the editorial process. We have a very thorough orientation and ongoing training. So we will make sure you're well trained, and we keep training you for the whole year you spend with us. If you have published before, if you have good experience with writing, editing, and proofreading, these are all very much welcome. So we usually look for people who can manage their time very well, because being an editor for USURJ is demanding. It can be time consuming. So if you know how to budget your time, you will succeed with USURJ. If you've published before, again, like I said, if you have an interest in academia and you like to write or read on all these things, these all can help you. So again, we don't have a lot of expectations, but we do expect you to be very much willing to learn, and we will take care of the rest. And what, I don't know what you mean by frequency in the question, but yeah, if you have any other questions, please let me know.
I'm guessing that Christine is wondering how often, like how much time each week or each month.
Oh yeah, of course, sure. So for a typical week, what a typical week looks like is you would spend 3, hopefully maximum 5 hours a week doing things for USURJ. What this includes a 1 hour meeting, and that like that that's what do we call it, a section meeting. So if you're, let's say, in the humanities and fine arts, you meet with the rest of the team for 1 hour, and then after that, the rest of the, say, 4 hours, these you spend editing and managing articles. Sometimes you do promotion for USURJ, so that can take maybe 15 minutes or something like that. So I would say 5 hours a week is what we expect. Okay, next question. If you've written interesting papers for a class, English, is it that eligible? Absolutely, it is eligible. And these are most of the papers that we receive, and we always look forward to them. Yes, if you have written very interesting original paper for a class, please definitely consider submitting it. Absolutely. And if you think it can't qualify for a full research article, consider submitting it as a research snapshot. Okay, so why don't we do the tour, and then if you have more questions, let us know. Oh, there's another question. With the research snapshots, if the primary researchers are planning to publish? Very interesting question. Okay, so if you publish results as a research snapshot, this is considered a published result. So if you want to write a bigger paper later, it doesn't mean you can't write the bigger paper, but you can't republish the results, because the results, if you decided to include them in a research snapshot, these are published. So you have to keep that in mind. So you have to cite your research snapshot when you're writing the bigger paper. Does that answer your question?
Just to add to that, Ghassan, if you're working with a supervisor and you are looking to publish the results of the study, perhaps in a major journal within the discipline, definitely double check. If you're working with a supervisor, double check and make sure that they're okay with you publishing a research snapshot. Sometimes research snapshots are more about the process, and not so much the results. So that can happen as well. So they usually are all over publication. But if you are working with a supervisor, even if you are thinking to publish with USURJ, whether it's a research snapshot or a paper, just make sure that you're working with your supervisor on that.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, let's say I don't know. This is a theoretical example. Let's say you did some summer work for the Canadian Light Source, and you were part of a project, and you've done some beautiful things there, and you want to talk about it, but your entire team is writing a paper and using those results. What you can do is, and you will be part of that paper that they are writing. So that's fine. Save the results for the main paper that you're submitting. But if you, in a research snapshot, you can talk about your experience. You can talk about the project itself, what it means for the general public out there, what it means for you. What did you learn by participating in that research? So this can qualify absolutely as a research snapshot. Very good questions. Okay, so let's go to our website. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And looks great.
Perfect. So our website is usurj.journals.usask.ca. Okay. You can also type usask.ca/URJ, and that will take you to the same journal, to the same website. Okay. So this is our homepage. This is our current published issue. This is the cover art that was submitted to us by one of the students. And these are all the articles that were published in this issue. If you want to see past issues, click on past issues, and you can see all of them listed here. This is where you probably will be spending most of your time. This is, so you will hear me say or refer to it as the submissions tab. When I say submissions tab, this is what I mean. Okay, you have the submission preparation checklist. These are things that you need to keep in mind when you're writing. Give it a quick read. You will see that it's not really restricting at all, just some guidelines for you to follow. This is a description of the different sections that we have. Okay, so if you're not sure where your article fit, give these a read and you will have a better idea. Author guidelines here. These give you a little bit more details into the formatting. So, like I said, for research snapshots and for research and review articles, you have two files that you need to submit. The first upload is the submission file, and the second upload right here is the publication agreement. And you can click here and you will download the publication agreement. Okay, so if you're submitting research review articles, here's the format. If you're submitting research snapshots, here's the format. Okay, and then you have privacy statement, copyright notice. Our editorial policies can also be found here. Okay, spend some time, go through them, make sure you're very comfortable with our policies. Nothing is really hidden or tricky. If you have any questions, you can always email us and let us know. Okay, so now let's say you want to submit an article. What do? You can either click here, submit. Sorry, I have other windows hiding it. I want to see. Okay, no, where is it? Make a submission. Or you can just click on the submissions tab again, and you will be prompted to log in or register. So if you don't have an account with us, you can just click register. But I already have an account. I have a test account that I'm going to use. So I will say log in, and my name is author, and I'll put my password. All right, now I am logged in. So what you were seeing before is our website, what everyone else will see. What I'm in right now is still part of our website, but it's called OJS, Open Journal Systems. This is where you submit, where you upload files, where you chat with the editors. This is where everything is done. This is the same website that we will use to manage your submission. If me as an editor, if I'm as an editor want to make a decision, I will log in here and make that decision. So now I want to submit. You just click on new submission. If you have submitted before, click on archives and you can see a whole bunch of stuff. So I've done this video before, so I have submitted many times and you can see them all listed here. But I'm making a new submission. I will click here. Okay. First thing you do is determine where your article fits. Social sciences, humanities and fine arts, health, natural, research snapshots. Let's say I want to submit my article in health sciences. Go through the checklist, make sure everything is followed, and check the list as you go. If you have any comments for the editors who will be managing your submission, just type anything here. Okay. Agree to our privacy policy and click save and continue. And now you upload. Okay, so again, you need to upload two files, the submission file and the publication agreement. So you click here, submission file, and I'm going to upload my submission file and click continue. You can rename it, you can do whatever you want to do with it, up to you. Click continue, and now it's uploaded. So now that I've submitted the submission file, I want to upload the publication agreement. I will click add another file. Is this a revision? No, this is not a revision, it's a different file. What type of file? It's a publication agreement. continue, continue, and complete. That's it. And now you will see both of the files are listed here. If you want to upload more things, you can click Upload File. Okay, I'm happy with how things look so far, so I'm going to click Save and Continue. Now you put the metadata. So this is the title, the abstract, the keywords, your own personal information. So it's called test, abstract, also test. This is my information. My name is test, apparently, and my role is author. But let's say you did a group project and you want to add more authors with you. You just click Add Contributor. Okay, click here. This opens up. Second author, last name, something like that, and then you type in their email, and their role was as author. And if you want them to be the primary authors for contact and correspondence, you can just click this or unclick it if you want to be the primary author. Okay, and click Save. But I don't want to add anyone. I am a sole author here, so I'm just going to click Cancel. But if you want to add your professor, your group members, just click Add Contributor and add them. Also, we ask for 4 to 6 keywords. So for example, let's say my first keyword is research. But I also want to add undergraduate research as one keyword. So what I do here, I typed undergraduate, press space, and then research. And now if I press comma, it's considered now one keyword. So you can type as long as you want. And the moment you press comma, now it's considered a keyword. Once you've provided us with enough keywords, once you're happy with the keywords you provided, and everything is here, the title, the abstract, you can just simply copy paste it, and all the keywords are typed, click Save and Continue. So now you have to confirm. Do you want to finish the submission? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. So what happens now is I will receive an email saying my article was successfully submitted. You can click back on the submission tab here. And here's my submission. So let's click on it. So you can see there are different stages here. There is the submission stage. So now our editors will read it and determine if it will be sent for review. After the review, there is the copy editing. After copy editing, there will be production where we publish. Okay, you can see the 2 files that you have uploaded. You can't upload any further, but if you want to upload something else, you can let us know. Remember the comment to the editor that I typed? It shows up here. If you want to talk again with the editor, click Add Discussion. Sorry, I'll do that maybe slowly. So here there is this discussion section. If you want to chat with us, this is where you do it. Click on Add Discussion. This opens up. Usually you will see a whole bunch of editors, but for now, it's just me. If you want to talk to me, and then you can say, question about agreement. Dear editor, test, something like that. You can also upload files and attach them to the discussion. I'm not going to do that for now. I'll just leave it as is. I will click OK. What that will do is it will notify the editor that they have a notification that they need to pay attention to. The editor will come, join, log in, and they will see, oh, there's a question about agreement. They click on it. This opens up. They can respond to you, or even you can add more replies. Just click Add Message, and you can type again. And that's how you chat with us. You can upload stuff if you've missed them in the beginning, or maybe we ask you to revise and resubmit the revised work. This is where you do it. Okay? And This is the author's view. The editors will have a slightly more sophisticated view. They can make decisions. For example, I can click accept. You don't see it because I'm logged in as an author. And then if I accept it, it will go to the review stage. The review stage will look exactly like this. It's all the same, and with the same discussion, everything is the same. All right? And if you have any questions, you can email us directly, or you can click add discussion and make sure you add all the editors that you want to chat with. If you want to submit any files, just click upload file and add it to the discussion. If you want to go out of OJS, all you need to do is click up here, view site. If you click it, you come back to our main website. If you want to log back in, you see this here, it will have your name on it. Click it and click dashboard. And now you're back. And here you can see there are 2 comments. So again, if you just click here, it will take you back to the submission so you can manage it. Tasks just basically means notifications. Right now it's 0. There are no notifications, but if it can say 1, 2, 3, it depends on how many things that you need to pay attention to. All right, and that's basically it. That's the tour. Do you have any questions or concerns?
That was fantastic. I haven't had a chance to see it from the submission process because I haven't been an undergraduate student for a really long time. But I think I'm registered as a reviewer, although I haven't been asked to do any reviews yet. Although I look forward to doing that. Does anyone have any questions? You can either put them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask audibly. That's fine as well.
To apply to be a USURJ volunteer, do we do it through the website or do we contact you? Yes, contact us. There is a link that we can send you, and you will have to submit your unofficial transcripts and contact information for someone who can be an academic reference for you, something like that. It's a very easy process. But yeah, if you want to be a volunteer, there is a become an editor. You can click here, or you can just contact us. We're very flexible, so don't worry about it.
I can include those links to USURJ in the email that we send out at the end of today with Ghassan's slides.
Absolutely.
Does anyone else have any questions?
And I also strongly encourage you to consider becoming part of the USURJ family. So yes, 10 out of 10.
Strongly
10 out of 10 will recommend it.
I support that as well. It's a really valuable tool if you're interested in the publishing process. Then this gives you a real inside view, and it is, as Ghassan mentioned, also will be recognized on your co-curricular credit. So a really good place to volunteer. It looks excellent on every resume for every job. I think that might be the end of the questions. We've got
Sounds good.
That's amazing. Ghassan, thank you so very much for joining with us today and providing all of this excellent information. Oh, good, we get to see you. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. If anyone has any questions still yet to come in, Ghassan and I will be here for another couple of minutes, but I will stop the recording. Thanks so much for joining us today.